10 things not to do in Valorant. This is going to be a list of things not to do to help you become a better player and understand the game more if you're just starting out, or maybe some of these things will help you out if you're more experienced in Valorant that you haven't thought of yet. So without further ado, here is the first thing not to do in Valorant. Do not crouch. And I know you've probably heard this a ton of times, and you've probably fell victim to the act of crouching in Valorant and how it could ruin your spray, ruin your shots, and get you killed a lot of the times. Definitely there is a time and a place for it, maybe if you're trying to just like outmaneuver someone and kind of change your head position, but do not get into the habit of immediately crouching as soon as you start shooting your gun. This not only plants you into the ground, but it also just sticks you completely where you are, since when you do get shot by bullets in Valorant, you pretty much just become a statue. You cannot move, you're just stuck in like this super sticky glue. So not crouching will allow you to maneuver a little bit better in the middle of fights, and it'll allow you to get out easier if you do get tagged by a bullet. Also, on top of this, sometimes people will have their crosshairs a little bit lower, so when you end up crouching, as soon as you start shooting, you're going to crouch right into their bullet. So instead of crouching, just get into the habit of strafing side to side in the middle of your bursts or sprays. So just make sure you're not immediately committing to a crouch spray in Valorant. Second thing not to do in Valorant is to not only use the range to warm up, also use deathmatch. And not only deathmatch, but also all the other training areas that are available to you in the range. I know a lot of people will just walk in and do the bots that'll appear either on like medium or hard or easy, but there's also a lot of other things that you can use to improve your aiming, your shooting, and how you're moving in Valorant. You can do the spike planting and defusal modes in the training range, but also I would just highly suggest playing more deathmatch if you haven't already. It can be annoying when you're getting shot in the back and just getting spawn killed all over the place, but this is probably one of the only places that you can completely just practice your 1v1s with real people. You're going to be fighting people with actual brains that are going to be moving according to how you're shooting, and this also lets you practice how you're peeking angles at certain specific parts of the map. So make sure you're getting in a bigger warm-up and better practice by playing more deathmatch and coinciding that with your time in the range, and then the spike planting and defusal modes and whatever other custom labbing that you're doing in custom games or in the range itself. Number 3, do not use the default crosshair that they give you. It's ugly and there's too much going on. I have 2 crosshair codes down below. One is a dot crosshair that I use with firing error, as well as a crosshair, and neither of them are going to be too obstructive to your view, and they should allow you to line up headshots a lot easier. All you need to do is put those few pixels that are in the center of your screen onto someone's head, and having your crosshair that is just small enough so it's not obstructing too much, yet big enough so you can line up those pixels, it's going to be a lot more beneficial to you to line up those headshots. If you're just starting out with the game and you're still using the default crosshair, make your own custom crosshair or copy one that I have down below and import it into your game. My 4th thing not to do is to not overheat in Valorant. That's a lot easier said than done. And if you don't know what overheating means, it means, especially when you're playing duelist, but anytime you're getting multiple frags in a row, you're just going to feel that fire in you to just keep going for more kills. But I've seen a lot more rounds thrown from overheating than I have from winning them. And I've personally thrown many rounds from overheating instead of just waiting and playing the basics of the game. Just always think of what your next action is going to be in Valorant and what the next thing you need to do to win that round is. So if you're just entering into a site, you get 2 kills, great. Don't go into their spawn and try to find more just because you got 2 and you're feeling it. Play the smart and disciplined game, get onto the site and just hold it with your team and play the next action that you need to do to win and put yourself in the highest probability of winning each round. Number 5, don't leave corpses on in Valorant. If you don't know what this means, this is just a setting that you can turn off in the game, and this will just eliminate bodies on the ground after an agent has died. I think this is super important to declutter the map. It won't confuse you if there's any dead bodies on the ground. It'll eliminate any obstructions in your view, and if you're playing Sage, it'll make it a lot easier to find someone to res, because instead of a body on the ground, it's just a little coin on the ground for you to just be able to walk up to and res. If you don't know where the setting is, you can just look through your general settings for yourself, or you can check out the settings video that I just released a little bit ago, where I go through all the settings you should have on and off in Valorant. Turn off those corpses, do not have them on. It'll make it a lot cleaner and less cluttered for you, and allow you to just focus on what you're shooting at and whoever else is still alive. Number 6 is going to be a map specific thing that you should not be doing, and it is to not break the glass that is in A Heaven on Ascent. And this rule is basically catered to defenders on Ascent, because this is going to be a free sound cue for you guys. And I've seen a lot of times in certain games, and I used to actually do this myself, I would immediately just go up through Heaven from spawn down and break the glass to just get into tree, and it would be a free flank basically for the attacking team. If the attacking team somehow finds a way up into tree and they're able to easily walk up the box into Heaven, it's a free flank for you guys, and it's a lot faster obviously than going all the way around to the spawn and up the ramp. So I know it's really tempting to just go in there and shoot it just because it makes a cool sound, or you're just swinging your knife around. Make sure you are not breaking that glass in the beginning of the round if you're defending on A, or if you're just going around the map in general. that is a free sound cue for your team to know that someone is going to be walking through that glass. And obviously it's important to consider the fact that people will sometimes break this for a fake sound cue, but it can save you a lot more than it'll hurt you. It's always important to just consider that someone could be there when the glass breaks, whether it's a fake or not. So again, make sure you are not breaking that glass unless absolutely necessary to get out of a specific situation or to do a fake for yourself as well. Number 7, don't look at your KDA. Instead, when you're looking at the scoreboard, shift your eyes to ult points and economy for the other team. This will take your focus off of yourself and how you're doing and place it exactly onto the people that you should be focusing on, and that's the opponents. You shouldn't be worrying about your teammates, shouldn't be worrying about yourself and your performance. Just focus on the enemies and what you need to do to beat them. Since Valorant is so mental, you're gonna want to make sure that you're trying to control and keep your mind ice cold as long as possible. And a lot of the times people will get a little bit discouraged when they see their kills and they're not absolutely out fragging everyone else, or they're like 1 in 7 or something, and you'll start to get down on yourself. So instead, just get in the habit when you're pressing tab to not look at your own kills and just shift your eyes to the other team and see how many ult points and how their eco is looking as well. This will help you plan out the round. You can see what possible ults are going to be coming this round, as well as what guns they could buy and afford. And this will help prepare you for the round and expect certain situations to happen. And when they do actually happen, like a jet popping her ult or a chamber popping his, you were already ready for it because you spent that time in the pre-round to just assume the situation that could happen, and you'll be able to act a lot faster and with more precision and accuracy according to what's going on because you were already prepared for it. The 8th thing not to do in Valorant is pretty straightforward, and it's just to not be toxic. Don't be toxic. This is kind of coming off of the last tip a little bit. If you see your teammate not fragging and doing so well, don't immediately just flame them because they're Phoenix and they have 1 kill. That is not going to help you win at all, and it just blows my mind how many people do not realize that if you just immediately flame your teammates, it's not going to help them win at all. If anything, it's going to start a crazy argument and drop any vibes you ever had on your team, and you're pretty much driving your team straight into the ground when doing that. I get it, there are some times and some kind of people that get a fire lit under them when they're being roasted for something, or when they're being told that their kills aren't good enough or something like that. But I think there's a fine line of criticizing your teammates for that, where it can be very toxic and very uplifting, if that makes sense. Instead of saying, Phoenix, you suck, why do you have 2 kills? Maybe just say, Phoenix, let's try to pick it up this round. It's okay. There's definitely a more constructive way of lifting them up when they're doing bad versus just being toxic to them because they're doing bad. So when you have that thought in the back of your mind that your teammates aren't doing well and it's all because of them that you guys are losing, instead just try to shift your mental a little bit to just bring them up, motivate them a little bit better, and just suppress that urge to be toxic to them and yell at them for not fragging or something. Number 9 is something so important to this game, and this is why I saved this and the 10th thing not to do in Valorant for last, because it's just so important to focus on. And number 9 is just to not break the snowman on Icebox. This is bad luck. This is just this is driving your team straight into the ground and throwing. If you break this snowman, the one that's in either attacking spawn, the one that's in mid, the one that's in back snowman, I don't think you should play this game anymore. I think you're just, I can't believe you. And it's okay. I know if you've been this far and you didn't know, it's okay. You don't know what you don't know, but just make sure you're not breaking that snowman on Icebox. It is bad luck. It will drive your team straight to the ground. It's worse. It's a worse curse than the 9-3 curse. I can't believe people who do that. And the 10th thing that you should not be doing in Valorant is buying Radianite. It's such a ripoff. Do not buy Radianite in Valorant. Instead of spending $100 million on like 10 Radianite, just spend $10 on the battle pass and get like 100 Radianite. That is your beginner Valorant fact and tip for the day. Do not buy Radianite in Valorant. So I hope all 10 of these tips help you guys out if you're newer to Valorant or have been a little bit more experienced and you're just kind of learning a new tip to the game. I hope you can take this and apply it to your game. Make sure to let me know in the comments below if you guys have anything else you shouldn't be doing in Valorant, and I might be able to make a new video on that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe button, and notification bell if you guys haven't already. We'll see you guys in the next video. And on that note, ta-ta for now.